What's your first assessment of what we've just seen? A marker has been laid out yet again by Manchester City.
Yep, certainly. We were discussing this, the strength in depth of the squad of Manchester City shown today. They were in control of the game for long periods, and the substitutes that they were bringing on towards the end just spoke, volumes about the quality in their team. I do think Arsenal deserved the goal today. They battled, they shoved, they huffed and they puffed, but they weren't able to get the ball across the line, and sometimes that's what it takes when you're in a stadium like this to get the game going and to make it more competitive.
But Arsenal lacked a little bit of quality in that last third. Some of the approach play was very good, but it seemed to die out once they got to that last third. But for Manchester City, they're just rolling on again. They look to be hungry. The quality that's on the bench and in depth is going to play a massive part for them. Arsenal need to regroup. We saw some shoots of progress. Let's get it right. Arsenal didn't look as soft as they did previously.
Yes.
But that is the marker. Now they know what the test is. They've got to improve.
Okay, and on that note, since we're talking about Arsenal, before we look at the goals, just your assessment, your honest assessment, what does Unai Emery have to do? What's his biggest task to achieve throughout the course of the season for this Gunners side? Specifically, what does he need to fix?
Well, judging from that game, for me personally, it's getting Aubameyang going. Get him in the game, in the match, on the end of things, involved in bits and pieces. Find a team that gets him on the ball more often than not in the final third, running at players, running at goal with the goal in his view. Occasionally, strikers have to play with the back to goal. That's something that we've all got to accept. But Aubameyang, can't say his name properly. He needs to be facing the goal that he wants to score in. He needs to be popping shots off, enjoying his football. Today, unfortunately for me, didn't look like he enjoyed it. He looked isolated, as we've highlighted, and I think it's a game that he needs to learn how to get himself into it.
Darius, didn't you think when Lacazette came on, that kind of opened it up a little bit more, because Lacazette's very good receiving the ball, and then when he sets it back, Aubameyang's getting on his bike.
I definitely agree with that. There's a partnership brewing there, and I believe there is. Whether Arsenal play to that kind of strength, two up front or one sitting in front and one in behind, I don't know. But as soon as Lacazette was brought onto the pitch, things changed.
It just seems to me like you're both hinting that this team needs to be built around Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Am I saying it right?
Yeah, it sounds right, yeah. I think he's got too much quality to be coming through a game of 90 minutes like that and not getting enough of the ball. I think that Arsenal, they need somebody, they need an outlet, they need somebody who can threaten him behind, and he is the man. But to do that, you've got to be there with the quality, you've got to be able to catch him up, and I think you need someone, a foil for him, for when it's not going right, you've still got that second option, and I think Lacazette is that.
Lacazette is. I believe they've formed quite a good partnership in pre-season, and I know it's only pre-season, but last season at the back end of it, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, he gave him opportunities. He gave him a penalty here, remember, which caused contention, and they were setting each other up for goals. So I believe that's something that the team will make the team stronger and they can build on.
Just out of interest, and particularly this is more for you, Kevin, because he was very vocal last season. He thought that perhaps it was time for a change. Ultimately, it did happen. Wenger should have left a bit earlier. Now that we've seen a competitive fixture, yes. I'm not going to look at the friendlies, etc. A competitive fixture under Unai Emery, what has been the biggest differences, do you feel?
I think it's without the ball. When Arsenal don't have the ball, they're a lot more organised than they were previously. Because if you remember correctly, this game last season, Manchester City here, was over in 20 minutes. It was over as a contest in 20 minutes. Arsenal were well in the contest up until the second goal went in, to be honest. And with a bit more quality in the last third, Arsenal probably could have equalised. Now, if Arsenal equalised, that brings the crowd into the game. Fair enough, Manchester City were a better team on the day, and they moved on, and rightly so, they won the game. But there were shoots of progress there, especially without the ball. Arsenal were a lot stiffer today.
Your assessment, though?
I would agree. There's always a danger with Manchester City. That transition period, it makes and breaks games. When you've got two teams with quality players in those teams and they're cancelling each other out, those transitional periods are the ones which make or break a football match. And today, Man City could have had, possibly 3 or 4 if it weren't for the organisation, the structure of Arsenal's defence and midfield. It can get better. It still can get better. But at the same time, I think with Arsenal, it's more about them utilising what they have up front as well as combining that with the defensive stuff.